Good afternoon. Thank you. You know, I remember at Thanksgiving, my brother came to me and we were talking. He said he learned of this new country Christian artist, and his name is Zach Williams. He goes, I heard a song of his, and it really made me think of you. I said, what's the name of the song? He goes, the name of the song is called this, Jesus' Fault. I said, Jesus' Fault? What do you think about me on that one, you know? And so we're talking, and he goes, because when we were younger, it's like we always found ourselves in a little bit of trouble when we were younger, you know. I was like, yeah, don't remind me of that one, please, you know. But he went on to say, he goes, this is why this song made me think of you, and really kind of a lot of our family at times, to be honest about it. He goes, the refrain of the song goes like this, how Jesus is always trying to pursue us and track us down and always bring us to him. And then the song ends like this. He goes, so if you miss the old me, that is Jesus' fault. So if you miss the old me, that is Jesus' fault. It's about conversion. And it's a great song, And so when we were talking about it, he was just like, there's sometimes there's sometimes when I look at you as a priest and a pastor and stuff like that, and I think about how those mistakes we made when we were younger, those times. He goes, but it helps you understand people more. Helps you understand, that sometimes we all find ourselves in those moments. And then when we see how God has worked with us in our own experience, we start realizing that's how God truly loves us. As we look at like the moments in our life that we think, wow, I really hope no one knows about this one. God is the one who says, you're still my child, and I still love you. Today being Pentecost, we have the apostles who are in the upper room. If you think about the ascension, they are coming back to the city with great joy. They're rejoicing. In the temple at all times, constantly rejoicing. And 10 days later, they're in the upper room because they're afraid. And then the Holy Spirit comes to them and sends them out. And I think when we see it that way, Jesus is reminding us that with the Holy Spirit, he will take us to new places and new ways we never thought possible. Because here are the apostles. Again, they leave the ascension of Jesus. He's telling them, I will send this new one to you. Stay and be ready. And then it seems like they forgot pretty quickly, Sounds familiar, The thing is that when the Holy Spirit comes to them, they go out. What's amazing is when it says, when they preached it, and they preached the word, they converted 3,000. I'm sitting there thinking, wow, that was one day. Been a priest for 12 years now, The thing is that this Pentecost, this gospel today that we have, just reminds us that, again, he says, whoever loves me will keep my word, and my Father will love him. There are many times I think we think we're not adequate or equipped enough to go preach about Jesus because we don't have a degree. We don't have, we haven't done enough Bible studies, all these things. But really, what he wants us to do is to preach about how much we know of his love, how much we know about him personally. He's not asking us to go and have a master's degree in biblical studies. He's not asking us to have, any other thing like that. He's just asking us to tell people of what we know about his love, his mercy, his life. That's what he's asking us to do. He's not asking us to write a term paper on the Gospel of John. He's asking us to tell people of what we know about him and his love. And that's where the Holy Spirit comes in. Because Jesus says this, the Holy Spirit will teach you everything and remind you of all that I told you. God sends us out with the Holy Spirit because it will always be teaching us, always be helping us, always reminding us of what Jesus did, always remind us of what Jesus done for us in our own life, not just in the Gospels. We remember God's love for us. Remember those moments where, we thank God for his mercy. Remember those things because he wants us to tell of his love. And the more that we understand that, it's not about an academic thing. It's a heart thing. It's a love thing. Love is about knowledge too. We know him. We know what he said. We know what he did. And we also know him in our own lives too. That's what Jesus wants us to share when he sends us out. Because as his followers, as disciples, he sends us out to help people know that he's walking with them too, that he loves them too, that he died and rose from the dead for them too. And that'll be the greatest thing they'll ever know. When we come here to receive him in the Eucharist, to hear his word, hopefully hear a good homily, hopefully. But he comes here to remind us what he did, what he said, and as we receive him in the Eucharist, also to be reminded of what he's done for us personally. And the more we can share of that, the more people will come to know who Jesus really is. Because we're sharing our experience of him. Not just what we've read, not some scholar who wrote about him, but what we know about him. So on this day, maybe that song applies to you too. If you miss the old me, that's Jesus' fault. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be, That's how it's supposed to be. The thing is this, is that the more that we realize what he's done for us and know that, and realize that we love him by loving others, more will come to know who he is. And he sends us out with that, his love. It's always being reminded so that we may always help people see his love every day.